Well, you guys have done, at least I've heard that you did recently did a live stream show in which it was tributed to Toots from Toots and the Maytals. So how did that show go?
Roger, our organ player, he does a podcast that airs every Saturday. Him and Devin Morrison, and it's called Reggae Pod Clash. So that
Mhm.
was nice. It was I was just a guest who got to perform a song for it. They
Okay.
had a few different. It was like the whole show was just playing some Toots classics, like their favorite records or 45s, and then they'd let like a have like a guy come in and do a little video. So like the dedication things I've been doing all the last few months, I set up my camera and did like a little thing in Logic and recorded the parts and did it for that. So it was good. It went well, and yeah, man, everybody everybody's bummed about Toots, you know,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, we've talked so much about him the last few weeks, but I could never stop talking about him because he's really, to me, the most brilliant one, or voice. He's the best voice, and his songs too, man. Like I can't get enough of Funky Kingston, the
Yeah.
album, and yeah, huge inspiration over the years. We lost a legend, you know, and far beyond just reggae, ska, and rocksteady. I mean, that guy's touched the hearts to
Oh
many
yeah.
people in the rock and roll scene, and obviously punk rock with the Clash, and then even to Willie Nelson or Bonnie Raitt and things
Hmm.
like that. You know, it's just like, yeah, that guy is legendary. You know, so it was good.
Well, and I saw like an old YouTube video of, I guess you guys were playing together, like it looked like just a socially
Oh
you were
yeah,
playing together. So did you have some kind of close relationship with him?
I have to post that at least once a year because that was honestly, out of all the years of touring and all the places we've been, that moment, it only was about 30 minutes, but that
Hmm.
30 minutes was probably the most memorable and exciting parts of all the tours. You know, like just one of those memories I'll never forget. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How it happened was, no, I don't have a personal relationship, or didn't have a personal relationship with him. I've only met him a handful of times. I've seen him play in California a few times. I saw him play at the Santa Monica Pier. I've seen him play not too far from where I used to live, a place called the Coach House, and that was cool because it was like table, tables, and it wasn't like a dance floor. And he did an acoustic set,
Okay.
so it was really cool. I was like a few seats away from like the stage and just got to watch him do this whole acoustic set, like sitting down, like MTV Unplugged kind of style, you know. But this particular time, we were doing like the big festival circuit, you know, all over Europe. It was a long tour. I remember the tour being about, I think it was about 13 weeks or so, on and off.
Hmm.
And this was while the time this was Budapest, Hungary. I forget the name of the festival, but there was a good string of shows that Toots was on also, and we made sure to always, if it, me at least, and at least one other or two other Aggrolite guys or three. Every time he'd play, we'd be on the side of the stage watching the whole thing. You know,
Yeah.
every single one of those shows.
Well, you guys pretty much started the genre called dirty reggae, which is also the name of your last album. So how did
Yeah,
you all come up with that term?
dirty reggae. It's just the same kind of thing. It was like trying to describe to each other that sound. You know, it's funny because every member of the Aggrolites is going to say they invented the word, but nobody really knows who. It just was the way that we talk. We all
Yeah.
talk that way. I
Yeah.
remember a specific time me saying it to somebody. I remember a specific time another guy saying it to somebody. But it's just the way that it sounded, like that.
Oh yeah.
Like the way that it was recorded. It was like live and raw,
Oh yeah.
and there's even like little parts that could be out of tune, or a guitar part that might be a little bit off, where you hear that flaw in the song, but it makes it even more
Oh yeah.
organic and just the energy in it. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
So we love that. We loved that style back in those days, like that analog, just real, everybody in a room writing stuff, writing all together, or just making it up on the spot, and
Oh
throwing
yeah.
out rhythm after rhythm after rhythm. So it was like, man, that sound is just like that raw, funky, gritty. I guess it could have called it anything, gritty reggae, or funky. You know, well, not funky reggae. That's already been used, but
Yeah, yeah.
dirty reggae just stuck, and it was like, hey, let's, you know, when we quit with the song "Dirty Reggae" was an idea because we're trying to do like James Brown kind of thing, like,
Hmm.
you know, like say it loud, I'm black and proud, or, you know, like have like a vocal chant, like a chant thing. So it's like, hey, let's just do the dirty reggae thing. So when I got in the room, there was no like lyrics or anything. To this day, I don't even know what I'm saying in that song. I got a Gia, all right, a good, a voodoo, a boom. Like I don't know what I'm saying at all, except for the dirty reggae part. And so that ended up being a song. And then it was like, hey man, that's a great album title too. Let's make this the whole vibe. And now let's start calling ourselves a dirty reggae band, because none of us, we were all from that like community, but none of us were skinheads. Yeah. You know, we weren't all rude boys and skinheads and wearing suits and, you know, like we loved that subculture, but we weren't personally like that as an image. You know, there was a time when I had a mohawk. Our bass player had a mohawk. He was covered in tattoos. You know, we were wearing like fighter pilot outfits. Like we looked like punk rock thug dudes playing old school reggae. So to call ourselves skinhead reggae wasn't going to work. So it was like, hey, let's just call it dirty reggae. Then we could be whatever we want, and nobody could tell us different. That's what it is.
Well, an interesting project that I've actually got a chance to listen to myself and also cruised on was you actually have a children's album which you are under the name Happy Wags.
Yeah.
So what got you into that project?
So it was I forget what year this is. Everything's a blur. It was like 2010 or so. And we were touring. It was like in the midst of just that constant being on the road. And I had my laptop when I had that program called GarageBand in it. And I was like learning how to record. And that'd be like some fun thing to do, like while being on tour, you know, to occupy yourself in the van or whatever while driving. Not literally while driving, but while sitting in the van while somebody else is driving. And that song Banana, the cover song that we do, it was a big hit on a kids show called Yo Gabba Gabba, which was on Nickelodeon. So it was like everywhere we go, you know, for a few years, until today actually, but it was like for a minute there, it was like our audience was like really not changing, but growing, because there was like, we you know, it used to be like a subculture, a lot of skinheads, a lot of punk rock kids, a lot of mods and rude boys and stuff like that. And like over the years, it started to turn into like house, you know, like middle-aged moms that have like kids at home, you know, and like kids coming to the shows. And a lot of people was that Banana song was a big deal. So
yeah,
we were constantly getting asked by fans at concerts to get children's merch, you know, which we rarely ever done, made kids shirts, and to come out with a kids record.
Yeah.
But we were so busy at the time, it's like we had no time to sit down and write, or no time to even think of recording an album, because we were spending so much time on the road. I guess that I sound like lazy by, you know, there's a lot of laziness too. You get on the road, you just get kind of stuck in a thing. A lot of people are motivated and go home and go right to the thing, and we didn't do that. When we were home, we liked being home.
Yeah.
But with that, my sister was just had 2 kids, and I'd be home, like I'd come home, visit my family. I'd be around my sister and her kids all the time. So
yeah,
hey, Sean, remember pee-pee in the potty, you know, like these things. Use your words, Dino. You know, like all these like things. It's like,
yeah,
damn good song. So I was chatting with my sister one day about it. My sister's like, she's like the silent musician. Like she grew up doing theater and plays and all that stuff, and she sings, but she never went that route, you know. And she started writing stuff with me, coming up with ideas and all that. And so I started recording it, and that was it. It was like, hey, that's what I would do on my free time, you know, spare time. I'd be just making up some kid song.
Yeah.
Before you knew it, I had like 10 of them, and it was like, I could make an album out of this, but who's going to sign it? Who's going to put it out? And sure enough, that's when I saw that Mike Park from Asian Man Records was doing what he was calling it Kindie, which is indie kid music, but indie. Okay. And the label was called Fun Records, and he had signed a few different bands. The guy from Bouncing Souls and his wife, called Playdate, they had a thing. And so I was like, man, I might as well hit him up, Mike Park, you know. He's from the ska scene, Asian Man Records, like. see if he'd be interested. And sure enough, Mike Park was down with it. So that's what happened. Yeah. And it's still out there. You can still get it.
Oh yeah.
It's not out there digitally. I have a whole bunch of not a whole bunch. I have a few vinyl left in my bedroom closet.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to sell for a minute there. I sold a few. Every now and then I'll sell a couple. So